Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Gisela Di Carlo show. It's Sunday, 1 o'clock, and it is my show. I hope you have tuned in to listen to. I have a great show prepared, really more of a horror story, which we come to in the second half. But first, I want to talk to you about I have had some requests from people that I've helped and people that have tuned in and so on that said, where can I know more about homeopathy? As you know all, I am a homeopathist. I'm a classical homeopathist. I'm also a natural health practitioner with a PhD in natural health, and I treat animals and people. I have found my very first homeopathy book that I thought was the most helpful. And believe it or not, even though I know how, so many remedies, but sometimes for a very quick, reference to see, what do I give for that? One or two remedies come to mind. What is the difference between the three? Well, this book, can you guys see it? It is Homeopathy, a practical guide, and you can buy it on Amazon. And Andrew Locke and Nicola Geddes, 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 have written this book, a fabulous family homeopathy reference book that will give you everything that you really need to know. It has different, see, when you go inside, it has different guides. Amnon, can you guys see this?
Yes, we can.
Good, good. Um, this this is really one of the best books that I have ever found for a family that if you want to just a self-help book, okay? It will also give you a lot of, I've given away this book to my sons. I've given away to friends. Um, it is a truly a wonderful reference. Now, anything that you find for yourself, I've said that many times, you have to then adapt to your animal. Like, for instance, you fell on your coccyx bone or you have lower back problems. That would be the same for your animal, but you have to then include the tail. So if the tail can't wag, then there is damage to the coccyx. There's damage to the spinal area. So you want to always adapt from what yourself, like you crush your finger. It says for hypercarium is for if you crush your fingers and you have a nerve pain. Well, if your pet has paw pains or has that, sometimes, pets, especially dogs, cats, I've seen it happen too, that they really pull out the whole nail for by some injury. uh, you give hypercarium, the same thing as you would if you injure your paws, your hands. Okay, so you just adapt that to the animal. And as always, acute things you can do on your own. You can you bruise yourself. You know by now, arnica is the recommended remedy. However, if you have a deep-seated pain, like an organ pain or a pain that cannot be remedied right away with homeopathy, I do urge you to go and seek doctor's care. At least have a test. Then, once you have had that test and you have a favorite homeopathist or natural health professional that you would like to go to, then go and seek them out again with that information. Um, I do not believe that just alone homeopathy for all illnesses is the right thing for everyone. Now, it is for me and my family because I pretty much so know what I'm doing. But I've trained for this for many, many years, and I still am learning. So, but even I will go and say, if I would have, like I just had a patient with a urine tract infection, a very severe one, with blood and fever and, general malaise and pain in the kidneys. Well, we administered Cantharis, which would have been the right remedy to administer. However, she only got better a little bit, not much. So what I advised is go to the doctor, see if there is a bacterial infection and or a kidney infection. If that is the case, then she may need antibiotics because a bacterial infection can only be really, really remedied with antibiotics. A short course of antibiotics will do the trick, and then support it with homeopathy. That would be the right way of doing it. The same way you would do that with your animals. If you have an animal, for instance, that like my little dog Charlie, he always is my little boy that always gives me the most ajna. He always has something or other, he's just the kind of dog that always needs to have, and I think one of it is also that he always wants to have attention, attention, attention. But he had the other day, he came to me and he loves to masturbate on his teddy, and that gives his whole genital area gets inflamed with that, and then he has a lot of pain. And so he came to me and he was shaking and he was panting, as you know, and I've said that before. Panting and shaking is an indication of pain. And so you want to address that. And what I did is right away I gave him a dose of Cantharis, which is this strong urge to urinate with cutting pains that are felt before the urine passes and as well during and after, may indicate a need for the remedy. Only several drops pass at a time. And he's had that. You may have pets, or especially dogs. You see it on cats a lot too, if they don't drink enough. Um, they pass only a couple of drops. Now, if they have, many dogs go many times. When you take them out, they urinate on every tree, on every branch, on everything, because that's called marking, just a few drops. So don't confuse that with that there's something wrong with the dog. But if, for instance, your dog did not have a full stream the first time that he went out, and just a few drops, and he had not gone for several hours before, then there may be an indication. Okay? So be careful of how you diagnose your animal. Best to call someone, and if you call me, or if you email me, I will always respond. And at this point now, before I go further, I do want to introduce our producer, Amnan, who is so gracious of giving up his Sunday, like I do mine, for your pleasure and for your information. Amnan,
Hello.
say hello to the folks.
Hello, folks. And I want the folks to log into the chat, those that are just listening there anonymously. And if you want to call in, it's 919-518-9773. Or if you want to use Skype just for audio, no, there's no video, it's Computers 2K Voice. So you can ask Gisela questions.
Yeah, and I will answer right then and there if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, always, Nan is so gracious to, we give our Sundays up for you here for, I do several hours before to prepare for the show. I'm done for almost the hour that we are online. And I think that is just really, we do it because we want to help you and we want to give
Because
you
it's important.
Yes, it's important. And we want to give good information out. And in a few minutes, I will tell you, like I said, my little horror story that I just discovered, even though I knew, really, I knew it before. But let me give you one more remedy for your pet, and especially for cats. Cats are notorious for that. They don't drink enough. If it's not flowing water, they don't want to drink. My cats have outside, I have a few little fountains outside that they go and they drink from that. But come winter time, I have to have either running water. And what I do is I turn on the tab of one of my sinks just a little bit so it just drips. And my cat jumps up there and they drink from it all the time. So I don't really have to, they don't like standing water. Most cats don't. But one of the main remedy, if you find that your cat is warm in the face, really warm, the nose is sort of hot, the face is very warm, the cat is lethargic, doesn't really want to eat, and maybe passing small drops of urine all over the house, that is an indication your cat is in distress, and your cat very likely has a urine tract infection. It is most common, and they do want to tell us each time, hey, listen, there's something wrong with me, so they urinate in places that they normally wouldn't. Aconium is, if you just discovered it, okay, or apis mellitum is really one of the best remedies for that. You just give a dose, and the way I dose cats are really, they don't really want you to open their mouths and put the remedy in. So what I do is I take a little bit of their favorite food, not exactly tuna, because tuna has too much of a strong odor, but one of their cat foods. I mix it with a little bit of water, mash it up real well, and then I put the remedy right on top of it. Don't mix the remedy in, just put it right on top of it. The cat will very likely eat that, lap that up right away. One dose most often is enough. If it's not, the remedy, the problem has not solved itself yet, then give another dose maybe 5, 6, 7 hours later. Most of the time, cats respond to that very, very quickly. So here you have two. One is Cantaris and one is Apis mellifica. The remedy is indicated when the person or the entity frequently needs to urinate, but only small quantities passed. Stinging and burning sensations are felt, especially in the last few drops. And that's why they don't want to really go into the litter box. The entity may also experience soreness in the abdomen. Heat and touch make the symptoms worse. These cats will seek coldness of the floor. Okay, they will lie on a stone floor or so on. They will not be. They will not seek out the heater or their warm bed or whatever. Um, uh, and the lack of thirst is indicated with apis. So there again, cat doesn't drink enough. Now they have a urine tract infection. Now they don't drink at all. Now it's aspartate. That's why you give apis. Okay. If you have any questions about a cat, please don't hesitate. Call. I will answer the question. If I cannot answer the question right on, I will email you back and tell you what you can do. So here comes the horror story. You guys, I don't know if you know or if I said last time, I was in California. I was visiting my son. And he is very much into homeopathy. He tries to keep healthy with homeopathy. And so we were talking about homeopathy, and he said to me, Mom, do not ever use canola oil. I said, okay, what does that have to do with homeopathy? He said, well, nothing really. But we know that homeopathy works with the immune system of your body. Homeopathy works with your body. The remedy that you give does not solve the problem, what you have, but it just helps your body to heal itself. Did you get that? All right. It's sort of like you do not change anything in your body. All you do is tell your body to kickstart the immune system towards the problem or the malaise that you have. So that's why here comes the horror story. GMO modified foods. GMO modified foods. I bet you guys have heard about it. It was in the news lately. It has been in the news. Many people have talked about it, but it's not really. It's sort of like the lid is on that. People, the food manufacturers have such big lobby that they keep a tab on it. They don't want us to know what is happening with GMO modified foods. Now, here I'm going to tell you their side first, then I'm going to tell you our side. Their side is they say if we do not modify the foods that we have, especially corn, soybeans, papaya, all kinds of foods, especially beans and so on, they are so susceptible to pests that we cannot grow enough foods for the population at hand. That's their story, which sounds valid, no? But our story is, and here I'm going to refer to some of the things. I printed it out because it's quite a bit, so bear with me. The problem with foods, modified foods, is they are so genetically modified that these genetically modified genes then we will ingest and genetically modify our genes. Did you get that? They will genetically modify our genes. Now, you probably all have wondered why all of a sudden now we have such obesity. Why all of a sudden now we have so much insulin resistant people, diabetics. I mean, it's an epidemic. We have an epidemic of cancer. Why is that? And when you look at countries just like us, where genetically modified foods are predominantly sold, they report the same problems. Europe, Germany, by the way, and Norway, Sweden, all the Benelux countries, and all the northeastern countries, they only allow very little. In fact, they really don't want any genetically modified foods. They don't really allow it. So you don't see those problems at an escalated rate as they are here. There are some problems there. I'm not saying they don't have any cancer or they don't have any diabetics, but most of that is because of other reasons. And we also export a lot to these countries. Now, how strict their control is, I have not been able to find out as yet. I am doing more research, and this conversation we will have a couple more times, and I will tell you more about it. But what they have found, or what has been found, is that several animal studies indicate serious health risks associated with genetically modified GM food, including infertility, immune problems, accelerated aging, faulty insulin regulation, and changes in major organs and the gastro system. Now, you probably know a lot of people that have gastro problems, either with acid reflux or colon problems or such. Why do you think that is? I mean, I never had my I mean, I'm old enough to know what it was like before. So I know that that has never been as predominant as it is now. The AAEM has asked physicians to advise all patients to avoid GM foods. Let that sink in for a second. The AAEM has asked physicians to advise all patients to avoid GM foods. Now, that is very significant because they understand that that may be harmful to our health. In 1992, the Food and Drug Administration claimed they had no information showing that GM foods were substantially different from conventionally grown foods. Therefore, they are safe to eat, and absolutely no safety studies had been required. That was in 1992. We are now 14 years later, more than that, 24 years later, and we have now understood what these foods can do, because that is a generation. But internal memos made public by a lawsuit revealed that their positions were staged by political appointees who were under orders from the White House to promote GMOs. Oh, no, right? What else is new? In addition, the FDA, officially in charge of creating this policy, was Michael Taylor, the former attorney of Monsanto. Now, Monsanto is the company that makes GM foods, genetically modified foods, the largest biotech company, and later their vice president. In reality, FDA scientists had repeatedly warned that GM foods can create unpredictable, hard to detect side effects, including allergies, toxins, new diseases, and nutritional problems. I told you it was a horror story. They urged long term safety studies, but they were naturally ignored. Well, why? Why would there be Monsanto and the political um, genre that we have in the White House is only for, you got it, money, more money. The more money we can make, the better off we are. Well, today, the same biotech companies who have been found guilty of hiding toxic effects of their chemical products are in charge of determining whether their GM foods are safe. Industry funded GMO safety studies are too superficial to find most of the potential dangers, and their voluntary consultants with the FDA are widely criticized as meaningless facade. Of course, of course, of course. Now, GM plants such as soybean, corn, cottonseed, and canola have had foreign genes forced into their DNA. The inserted genes come from species such as bacteria and viruses, which have never been in human food supply. You know what, guys? When I read this, I said, I don't know. Do I really want to scare the daylights out of everybody? But you know what? If we don't know, if we don't know, and as my son, at that time, my son only said to me, don't use canola oil, which I always use because for many years now, the last couple, use canola oil. You don't want to have all the harmful, fatty disposed because you may get plaque in your arteries and, you will have a heart attack and so on. Well, you know what? I almost had a heart attack over this. Never mind that I mean, I'm not using canola oil anymore. Um, so whenever you use corn oil, whenever you use soybean, and by the way, all of the soy products that we are using, they really are not good for us. They really are not, because most of them are treated in a GMO fashion, a genetically modified fashion. They have found that uh, corn is cotton linked to allergies. Soybean is linked to allergies. Uh, the biotech industry claims that Bt toxin is harmless to humans and mammals because the natural bacteria version has been used as a spray by farmers for years. Well, yeah, it has been. But for years also, we've had an increase in problems. I don't care what kind of health insurance you have. Our health our health system will not be able to treat us anymore if this continues. And the only way this will continue is if we keep buying the product. Now, why all of this came up right now was also because the new labeling now proposed is that all the genetically modified foods have to be labeled as such. Now, here's my question to you guys. There's a lot of opposition to that, of course, in our White House, in our political stratosphere. Do you think you would want to know if your food is genetically modified? Please get back to me. Please get back to me and tell me if you think you would be for this. Because if we don't know, how can we avoid it? And very likely, people my age and people in their 50s and 60s are by now have had so many of these toxins in there that we say, oh, well, it doesn't matter now anymore. Well, it does. In this case, more is not better. In this case, more will contribute to a faster, maybe not a faster death, but a more painful one. Because you know what? I rather die of a heart attack that is quick and fast at any age than a lingering death of diabetic problems, brain function. Alzheimer is linked to this. Alzheimer is linked very strongly to this. Brain problems, cancer, a long lingering cancer. Would you rather die of that than a quick death? We know we have to die. We all have to die. It depends on quality of life, not quantity, guys. Quantity is nothing. Quality is everything. Okay? So we do want to heed to this. And you can research all this. Just put in to your computer GMO modified foods. There's tons of information for and against and up and down and every which way. You can research this widely. But all the research that I found all claims to the same thing, that it is harmful to us. And we feed our animals with GMO products. We feed our children with GMO products. And it really boils down to this. Either we genetically modify over generations to come to offset that, or we all will be depleted and a short-lived society. Not just this society, but world population. Maybe it is a design. I don't believe in conspiracies, but this is almost like a conspiracy. It definitely is a very scary thing. And I would like to know if my product that I buy is genetically modified. So I would like to have labeling on there. I would like to for them to be forthcoming of saying, um, yes, these tomatoes, this corn has been genetically modified. Amnon, what do you think? You think that we should have labels on our products?
I do.
Yes. Okay. I
Definitely. There are a
really,
lot of people that uh, have no idea at all what
no,
they are putting into their body. So,
yes. I mean, it's just really, it is so so scary, really, to read this and to look at this. I mean, liver problems, kidney problems. I mean, there's a whole industry now of for kidney dialysis. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the one organ that keeps us really very healthy is our kidneys and our liver? Both of these organs, without them, we cannot live, just like we cannot live without our heart. But we are poisoning them. They are filtering this out. And then we just decide, oh, well, now that we destroyed the kidney, why don't we just put you on dialysis? Or maybe if you're lucky, you get a transplant.
this is the same as you keep going to the gas station that has cheap gas, but it's dirty.
Yeah.
You're going to have to change your fuel filter very often
And if
because
you
the fuel
don't, you
filter
won't have an
cannot do it.
engine.
Now, we
Yeah.
cannot change those organs every other
No.
day.
And you know what? If you don't change the fuel filter,
It stops.
you won't have an engine.
Right.
Yeah. Car one will stop running. Same thing. Good analogy. Very, very good analogy. Do we have anybody in the chat to uh, have a
No,
comment to this?
no, nobody that has any questions.
Nobody has any comment to that. Well, I'm surprised because I thought we might get really quite a, but I'm sure that for many people I gave you a very, very good wake-up call. Here are a few little just a few little things that you have to think about. Soy allergies skyrocketed by 50% in the UK soon after GM soy was introduced. Uh, a skin prick allergy test shows that some people react to GM soy, but not to wild natural soy. Cooked GM soy contains as much as 7 times the known amount of soy allergies. GM soy also contains a new unsuspected allergen not found in wild and natural soy. All right. Well, you know, we cannot change Monsanto. We cannot change that there will be GMO products because they're so widespread. They did this under the radar so well and without us really knowing, and infused our food chain with this, that we really have no choice anymore other than give us the information, label the product so we can make the choice. We can say, we don't care, we take the risk. It's not even a risk. We take it and we will be allergic. We take it and we will get more ill, or we stop buying it. The reason why they're naturally against that is, what do you think? They don't want us to stop buying it because then their gravy train and their gold rush is over. So, listen, folks, I hate to tell you this, but it's in our hands. It's in your hands if you stay healthy. Oh well, and no amount of homeopathy and no amount of vitamins, and no amount of medicines that you get from the doctor will keep you from being healthy, or will give you health back once you're critically ill with that. So let's stay away at least from corn oil, soy, and canola oil for the time being. Research it a little bit more. Make your voice known to Congress and to your representatives that you want labeling on the food. I will do so, and I do hope to hear from you all. Uh, I hope it was a little bit of a wake-up call. I know it was the pleasant one, but once in a while, I have to tell you really what goes on, because I hate to see the patients that come to me with their animals and their themselves dragging themselves in and saying, "I don't know what's wrong," and often um, I can't really help them anymore. I can give them remedies, and that will make them feel a little better for a while, but that will not cure them. I mean, so many of our animals have so many illnesses, that we never had before. So our dogs maybe didn't live to be 18 in the very old days because they met with an accident, or they didn't have the health care, the nurturing that we give today. But boy, they sure weren't as sick as they are today often, at least not that I remember. So, I would love to hear from you guys. You can always email me at mylife-mywill at live.com. My life dash my will at live.com. I welcome your comments, and I will all see you next Sunday. Um, the Sunday of barbecues and Memorial Day. I will have here too, we will have a Memorial Day bonfire, and we will hopefully have a lot of nice weather. Right now, the weather is a little cloudy, but we don't have the rain that everybody else is having in the midsection of America. So we are grateful for that, although we do need the rain. So I wish you a very nice Sunday. Pleasant. Think about it. Research GMO products. And I will see you all next Sunday. Bye for now.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.